one of the things that people are always concerned about, and I must say I was a little concerned too, was particularly with a female dog, well, with either gender, but a female dog, when she urinates, she squats, both legs are side by side, she puts herself in position, and this one, when she's done, would wipe her feet profusely. I mean, we're talking about, there would be grass flying everywhere. Okay, and so I expected that to be an issue. The very, very first time she urinated, I think she was uncomfortable because she tried to do it the conventional style, but very quickly she learned that she took the front right foot, she moved it back to about her mid-body, and she created kind of a three-point stance, and she had absolutely no problem with that. I think when she tried to defecate, she would have more problem with it initially because the stance didn't work quite right and took a lot more straining to get there. Plus, her diet had changed and she wasn't eating quite the same ration. And so you had all of those things. And the first thing she would want to do when she ran outside is eat grass. She's my grazer. Yeah. She'll go out and she'll actually go to the right vegetation and she will graze just like a cow. And that's been a routine, and so of course then she's got that all mixed up with her feces, and so that would cause some problems, and you'd end up having her wander around the yard on three legs with part of this kind of dangling, and she would try to finally it would come off, and we'd look at each other going, do we have to go do something here on this? And we said, well, no, I don't think so. I think this will take care of itself, and it did, and so it wasn't that much of an issue, but when she would do that, she wanted to scratch her feet, and she couldn't scratch her feet.
Yeah.
And so that's been an issue. I'm going to be kind of interested to see how she responds later on. If she can figure out how to do a 3-foot scratch.
Yeah, I think it was also partially, as you were watching her, you couldn't quite tell if she could really get into the stance because of the pain at the rear, which is different than when they urinate. And if you look at a dog, typically they bend their backs a little bit more. And so I don't know how much it was related to not having the fourth leg, and some of it being painful. Because the other thing, rather than standing in one spot, she tends to walk and move a little bit more than she used to.
Well, and some of it may also be the strength issue, because instead of having 2 legs to be able to bear that weight on the squat, she's now having to do it on one, and then the balance issue comes in too, about, okay, where do you position that back leg to do your 3-point stance?
And turn yourself, because defecating is different than urinating for them, and so I think the learning to defecate is a little harder.
We think the solution is more fiber.
Yeah. More grass.